One day, it's not an ideal day. Let me tell you. 57's the high. Temperature's fine. Chance of rain though. Right smack dab when I'm probably gonna be trying to fish this bait. And it's windy. Isn't that weird? Start the video and the first thing I talk about is weather. I'm just a really interesting guy, you know. This is heavy, very hard chunk of wood. Teak. This is teak wood. On the spectrum of how hard woods can get, I believe this is pretty high. Let me check. Wood density chart. Don't do it, Peter. Don't. So the measurement of wood density is 10 to the 3rd kilograms per cubic meter. Let's find teak. See, alder is like 0.4 to 0.7. Ashwood 0.54. Aspen 0.42. Gives you the idea. Balsa is 0.16, so very little. So the higher this number, the harder the wood. 0.98. Wow, that is the hardest wood on this chart. I just looked through the whole thing. 0.98. Hickory's 0.83. This is 0.98. That was loud. Ow. That probably sounded like a, I can't say gun on YouTube. A shot. This feels like a piece of aluminum. Like it's very similar. So let's destroy all of my tools, cut this up, carve it out, make a lure, and let's think of something good. For a very dense wood, the properties of this, let's make it applicable to a type of lure. And just go catch a fish. Right off of the bat, I have an idea. There's a big crack down the middle of this, and I don't know if that might connect on this side too. The wood grain, can you notice the wave? It's not straight. It's kind of gnarly up in here. I have a feeling I'll be using a sander a lot, and oh my goodness, I need to wear a mask when I sand with this stuff, I think. But yeah, right off the bat, I have the idea for this bait. Hard body offset spinner. Small. I don't want to go too big with this, but a hard body offset spinner. And it does not need to be this thick, and I do not want to take this to my table saw and find out if I can't rip this. Oh, even my bandsaw. I'm gonna break a blade. This wood alone probably sinks. I really don't know if that's the case, but I'd probably be willing to bet like a couple bucks that it sinks. Not pretty enough. Yeah, that just sanding that right there is kind of potent. Really sticks in the nose. Okay. What was I? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going with a better shape. I like it when they have flat tops and big bellies. Like you just look at it and you know the weight's in the belly. Like such as, can you see that? I like that better. That's a good shape. To the bandsaw. And before we get to the bandsaw, 11:41. Whoa! Whoa! That's late. Whoa, what was I even doing this morning? Please be actually wishing me luck in the future there. I am nervous about this. This is a thin blade. You know the circumstances. Very hard wood. Uh-oh. My saw's not working. Why isn't my saw working? Did my saw just break? I blew a fuse. I think I got more. My shop literally uses bus fuses. It's annoying. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, I didn't get it. What in the world? I'll just take power from a different outlet, I guess. Does my garage opener work? Because that's the same plug-in. Oh great, it doesn't. I think an outlet took a dump up yonder. Oh, we're wasting time. With more untied a knot in this. Things are clicking and sounding like electricity's going through them, so I think I did it. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Why? The garage door opens. Or the... Oh, I just didn't have that on. That was a fiasco. I'm sorry. On to cutting this out. And I just realized again that this is dangerous. Wow, that smells bad. I am putting a mask on. And I don't typically put masks on. So that tells you how bad this smells. It smells like rubber and chemicals. Teak wood, man. Yeah, the wood grain alone, it doesn't look that bad. It's very dark, but you know, that's pretty. That was a heck of a lot easier to cut than I thought. I was just being a big baby. Just gonna calm down and make this lure. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my heat gun was on top of my belt sander, and I turned it on, and it threw it off onto the floor. Still works though, but that's what that noise was. Back to lure making. By the way, kind sir, who sent me this teak wood and the P.O. wax, Chuck Bosworth. Jeez. If I could have a name like that. Anyway, Chuck, fan of the channel. He's been replacing some wood on his sailboat, and he thought that I could make use out of some teak wood. And yes, it's a very dense wood. He says it's by far the densest wood that he's ever worked with. Gorgeous grain though, and I agree. I want to give you a real good close-up of this. That's with saw marks and everything in it, but see how it's like scattered and furry and just like this would have made a good mammal fur representation. I've done that with mahogany once with the chickmunk. Yeah, thanks Chuck. I want to test something. Come here. Does it sink? Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's cool. This wood actually sinks with no lead. Now I need to dry this off. But that just made it look even prettier. Now you can see that grain. Anyway, it's good that this sinks that hard, and I'm going to add lead to this too. You need that bottom portion of the hard body offset spinner to be very heavy. Your line ties in the middle, there's a blade with a bunch of resistance pulling back, and it does make the body want to come up very much. The smaller the blade, the less it has that effect, but the bigger the blade, and I do want a chunky blade on this, you need a heavy body. We might experiment in the future with like putting a light wood on the, like gluing a light wood to a heavy wood and putting the heavy wood on the belly and the light wood on the top. But for now, we are going to take advantage of this very dense wood and use it for a very practical application and catch a fish. This is a one day, for goodness sake. Pencil. Where'd my tunes go? Where's my phone? It is time to bring knife to hard wood. Not a problem. I mean, it's a bit of a problem. There's a lot of force behind that knife to just do, but you know, not a problem for me. Hey, have you guys ever heard how strong I am? I'm a very strong man. This is not a problem at all. Woo! It's almost easy. This is a very sharp knife right now, by the way. And I can feel it's getting dull. Every swipe I take, I can feel how it's kind of harder and harder to do that again. Wow. Ouch. Finger cramp. Let's try putting this in the vise and taking a chisel to it. Okay. Even that is not as easy. This chisel's not as sharp as that knife. Man, we'll get it done. It just will not be comfortable. It even makes a super loud noise with just a tiny little chunk. Like pops off. Kind of makes me nervous to work with it. Like I'm putting so much force behind a super sharp blade. I noticed where the wood is more red. On this side, the wood's more red than on this side, but it's softer where it's red. The grain got a little wonky on me. I'm having to come from this angle on the back so I don't tear out. Kind of scared me for a second. Everything's okay though. There is the rough carving. I'm gonna put my mask on and do some sanding. This is definitely the hardest wood I've ever worked with, and it beats it by a long shot. The Ipe was, or sorry, the Ipe was like a standard deviation softer than this stuff. Man, even this dust acts like metal shavings, just heavy, sits right where it falls. I'm not gonna do any finish sanding yet. I'm feeling kind of itchy too. Yeah. I'm going to drill the lead holes, pour the lead in it, cover them, and then do all of the finish sanding. But I might as well make some holes for hardware and whatnot right now. Sharp bits. Even my pokey thing can barely put a dent in this wood. That's saying something right there, I tell you what. I tell you what. Even the wood, like it sends its way up the spirals in a drill bit like metal does. And it clogs. Man, wow. And it's hot. This is some serious stuff. I'm thinking I'm going to take advantage of the situation, this being a very dense wood that already sinks. And I'm not going to have to put as much lead in the belly of this as I would if it was like poplar or normal wood. So I'm just going to drill a couple of 3/8 inch in diameter holes in the belly. Put one up here by the head and one behind the hook hanger right there. I want to do some eye sockets too. Let me figure out the eyes I want on this. Well, that was an easy choice. For this very hard wood bait, I should obviously use the Freddie Mercury eyes that I have. For some reason, these are 22/64 inch. Whatever that comes out to in millimeters. I don't have any millimeter drill bits. I'm an American, okay? This is the closest bit I got to it, so. All right, lead holes. This being the incredibly hard wood that it is, I'm obviously going to use a drill press vise so I don't die. Whoa, I was pressing down on that really hard. It's a very centered hole though. Good job, me. I squished up the side a little bit, put a big dent, and it tore out a little bit even on the side there, so I'm gonna have to sand through that. Eye sockets. That'll do. The Freddie Mercury eyes fit. Let's make some hardware for this bait. Make the hook hangers first. Yes, you have to put the wire in your mouth. Oh. Oh. Lead pot. Get the lead. Oh, my lead pot's over here now. Get the lead pot hot. Okay, where was I? Gonna get these wires bent up. There's the two hook hangers. Now I need to make the big line tie harness that goes off to a swivel. Ooh, do I have swivels? I need to make sure I have swivels. It's not looking good so far. Okay, these aren't ideal, but these work just fine actually. I know if you were buying a lure you wouldn't want to see a swivel like this connecting your blade, but since I'm just using this lure, not a problem. You would want a ball bearing swivel, but these are just barrel swivels. Good enough for me. It's the hard wood, I swear. No, don't take me away. Please, no. So, got a longer stretch of wire here. Match up the ends just like this. Get that bent right there. Get that swivel on there. Get it on the end like that. And then, you pinch the tip of that bend right in your vise. Get that puppy in there too. You're gonna put some torque on it, so. And twist. This is not easy. Like, to twist cleanly and consistently and have, you know, a good looking stretch of twisted wire, you need to pull it tight and also be pulling towards you at the same force the entire time, or else you're gonna have knots and kinks and stuff in your twist. That's all it needed right there. You don't need this stretch of twisted wire to be long at all. And then I find myself something. Let me find something. A round file works just fine. And you take the top one and you bend it over and pull, like push it back. You see what I did there? I can't explain what I just did, but at least you saw it. Take all this out, and then that little loop you created, pinch that whole thing in the vise, and now you can stop using your hands. Get your drill out. You don't need this much wire, so I'm gonna Chuck those two ends in your drill and spinner. There you go. This is all crooked now. It's always all crooked. When you're done doing that, you have to straighten things out. You do want this to be straight. This is literally how I do this. I look at it and I think, how long do I want this to stick out? What size blade am I using? What's gonna not look too stupid? I put my thumb right there. It's like, yeah, that doesn't look bad. So right where my end of my thumb is right here is keep that there, cut the wire right there. And I give it a little, like I usually give it another 1/4 inch or something and check, is that where I wanted that? And then you have an option, since you cut it long like that, you have the option to make your hole deeper, which will only secure the wire in better. So that's what I usually do. I drill out, I don't cut that wire, I drill out the hole more. So it doesn't stick out as long. And that's perfect. That's right where I wanted this. Let's glue all this in. Actually, no. Let's not glue any of that in and pour the lead. Hot lead! Hot, hot, hot. Don't splat. Don't splatter me. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, that stinks. Stanky. Smells like rubber. Got a little messy on the corner there. No big deal. We can wipe it off. It's like leaching some sort of liquid, resiny goo out of the wood because that hot lead. Hopefully I can sand that off and it doesn't look gross like that. But we got the lead in. Let's cover these holes. I'm gonna chisel off that lead that got a little sloppy on the corner. Get rid of that. And it's time for the best part. I have my super glue. I don't know where my baking soda is though. Oh, there you are. Up yonder. Here we go. Whew. I can tell it's lunchtime by how much I shake. Closer and closer to 12 the more I shake. Now's the time where we go over this whole thing in a progressively higher and higher grit of sandpaper. Let us start with 100, and then I have 220, and I think I have a 300. I think that's all I got, so we're not going too crazy. This stuff does not get stuck in the sandpaper at all. It's kind of odd. I'm expecting to see it clogged and it's not. It's just perfectly clean sandpaper still. That means it's all going into the air and into my lungs. Whatever. It's the sacrifices you make as a bait maker. You don't strive for health. You strive for nice baits. You guys think I should just go straight to the river with this? Make really, really long casts in very rocky, debris-filled spots, and you know, try to get that smallmouth. That smallmouth that's under a shopping cart submerged in the river. Should I go for that one? Just cast it and let it sink, and then start retrieving so it's nice and low to the bottom. You think I should do that? Maybe that's where we'll go first, is the river. Go for those shopping cart smallmouths. I applied some super glue to this bait because I saw some divots that dust was filling in, and I wanted to leave the dust in there and then apply the super glue. And that has to be done a couple of times to actually have a good effect. Ah, that's a pretty wood, I tell you. Does that need paint? Would it be stupid to paint that? I mean, once I get a clear coat on this, that's all gonna be so smooth. Sorry, I just burped. That's gonna be so smooth. Where's my 300? I'm gonna sand this with 300 for a bit. And then I'm gonna glue the eyes on, then I'm gonna clear coat it. I think it would be bad to paint this. I mean, it's gonna get the Freddie Mercury eyes, for goodness sake. Thank you, Dead Meat Customs, for those Freddie Mercury eyes. Very random of you, but they're going to a good lure, I tell you. I'm having second thoughts. Maybe I do want to put some paint on the belly of this. Just the belly. Leave the rest of this beauty alone. But that way I can cover up these lead holes. Those don't look so great. So just get those covered up, put the eyes on, clear coat. So first, we need to go with the opacest of whites possible. Wicked opaque white. I don't want to use a lot of paint, and I don't want a lot of overspray. I want a thin stream that lays down a very opaque color. And that's what that is. I have to do weird stuff like this to get my airbrush ready. Okay. Notice the angle that I'm holding the bait, and then how the airbrush is going over. That's to reduce overspray onto the body. It's so tempting to just take your airbrush and bring it up like this, but you're gonna get so much overspray onto the sides. Don't do it. Wicked red. Gnarly. I'm less concerned about the overspray with the red. There. Painting's done. Put the airbrush down. We want wood on this bait, so the painting is done. White belly, red nose, or chin, or whatever you call that. Okay, I got the backing peeled off of a Freddie Mercury eye. Now I'm trying to align it perfectly. That's so random. Okay, time for clear coat. We're gonna get the Illuma UV clear coat on this one. It's the old faithful clear coat for the Marling Baits channel, that's for sure. Beautiful bait. Gorgeous wood grain. There we have an offset spinnerbait, and I went with a large nickel Colorado blade as the spinner, made out of teak wood with Freddie Mercury eyes. I did not know what I was going to make this morning when I woke up, but I don't think I could have ever imagined that it was going to be this. None of that was all that difficult. The wood was really hard, but that's not that big of a deal. I think other hardwoods like this have properties to them that make it difficult in other ways, like abrasiveness and it dulls your tools, like gumminess and it'll seize up your saw, stuff like that. This was pretty friendly. This wasn't that bad. Somebody gave me a different person gave me some different wood. Brazilian Rosewood. Jordan Vance. Is that your name? V-A-N-C-E, Jordan Vance. Let me know how this stuff would stack up against teak wood. It smells weird. I have a feeling it's harder. It's awfully gummy, like there's sticky stuff on it even, like seeping out of the wood. Really tight grain. I don't know. I have some of that too. Maybe we can do a lure with that stuff later. Anyway, here comes the part of the video that renders it successful or unsuccessful. Will it be official? Get a pike, get a muskie, get a smallmouth, get a largemouth, get a crappie, who knows? Let's go. I'm gonna shut up, let's go. Let's start the day out at the creek. I got my cutoff where I cut the bait out of that piece of teak. I'm so creative. YouTube thumbnails are 16 by 9. Look at all that. Let's get by the water so you guys know I'm by the water. Tell me that's not interesting. You can even see Freddie Mercury right there. Oh, Instagram post. Can't forget that one. Boom. Now I can fish. Here we go. How does it work? Oh, it sinks hard and it thumps hard. The two most important traits. Yep. Oh, it has a wobble. It even has a wobble. It's a slight little shimmy, but it's guys. Why am I so excited about that? It's not easy to get a wobble, and I got one, and it was all by chance. Maybe it is the teak. Who knows? Come on, muskie, right here. This will be my last chance for the day. Last spot that I have time to fish. But it's a good one. And yeah, it's the river. I'll try not to lose it. Hit. It was looking bad there for a long time. But it's official. 543. Largemouth, like teak wood. Very hard teak wood. It's official. Woo! Yeah, be free. Everybody telling me not to go to the river because I'll lose my bait. I scoff at you now. Ooh, that was a catfish. There are fish off of this point, boys. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. I did it. Ah, success. That really was one of the more difficult one days I've ever done. I had very, very low confidence with that lure the entire time. For the past month, I've just been finessing soft plastics to catch fish. I haven't caught anything on a hard bait all year. I think that, unless I did, except the wax worm. Maybe there was something else, but nothing memorable. But yeah, that was tough. And we did it. And I had more hits after that bass at that same spot. I thought one of them was a catfish as well, so found a nice little spot there. This bait is beat to crap. My poor bait. Look at that. Freddie Mercury's still holding strong. But we got all the way through to the wood grain. Apparently this is some of the most water and weather resistant wood that exists, so not too worried about it. Bait works fine. At the beginning I thought it had a nice little swim, but I got to bending the wire and stuff and adjusting it so it was more stable. And it's just stable. I mean, if you burn it, it'll come up a little bit, but I think also what helps towards the stability of a wooden offset spinner is the wood and it floating, and then the lead pulling against what's floating to keep it upright. So once again, an ironwood, one of these exotic super dense woods. They're not good for making lures. I think the last thing I'm going to try with an ironwood, and it's probably going to be that Brazilian rosewood, is it on the bottom and then probably balsa wood on the top, or basswood or something lighter on the top, and making a jerk bait or a crankbait or something to buy wooden lure. Anywho, video's over. You guys want one more sneak peek of this monstrosity? How about a whole shot? I got most of this done carved. Let's just say Roman Maid might be mad. I don't know why they get so mad, but anywho. On to the next bait. With more untied knot in this. Wow. It is time to bring knife to hardwood. Ow. Ooh, that was actually no. Ugh. That's saying something right there, I tell you. Teak wood